Y'all catch this real quick. I'm gonna talk about something really brief. I'm gonna try to make it brief, but it's a lot. Um, so I just got off the phone with one of my friends that's currently incarcerated, right? And for that person is one of my assignments, and that person's portion is the fullness of God. That person is a child of God, belong to God. They are my assignment. And their portion is liberation, complete liberation, freedom, and so forth, right? For we're not working in vain. You get what I'm saying? So anyway, this person told me that one of their family members did something, like they did something to tarnish the person's reputation, and also like to keep this person incarcerated, right? So I told him, I said, oh, that's a good time right there to rejoice, right? I said, that's just revealing and foretelling, you get him saying, that God is moving on your behalf. Okay, so if you was going to do all the time that they were saying that you were going to do, then it wouldn't be such activity as it was, in the news that he got today, if that makes sense. I pray that y'all follow me. I'm not gonna baby y'all really hear me by the Spirit of God, right? So if his life was over with, right, behind bars, why would it be such opposition, right? I said, this is a good place to praise God, because this just foretells and reveals that God is moving on your behalf, because freedom is coming your way. Like, freedom is already yours, right? So that's why such opposition, right? I said, with our path in God as the royal priesthood, God's, you know what I mean? His own, right? You get what I'm saying? As daddy is sorting things out for us, and just working things out, all things out for our good, we gonna have such opposition. And I said, make it make sense, but I went further, and I encouraged him, right? Because it's the truth, right? So I said, yeah, me and my daughter just came from the store, right? We sitting down, we taking a break, we eating lunch real quick, whatever, right? So I see this lady in a wheelchair thing, a scooter thing that they be having in the stores, her and her son. And I see the boy, how, he's being verbally abused. I see that this woman is possessed with demons and so forth. So I'm praying over the situation under my breath. I'm saying it out loud, but I'm saying it under my breath. And I'm like, God, protect him. I'm like, deliver it. Like, I'm just saying whatever I say, whatever, right? Because I see the truth, right? So they leaving out. Why, like 5 minutes later, she coming again. This time I don't see the boy. And she's right, like a couple of steps, a couple of feet in front of us at the counter, about to order her some food, because we were in this, like, because you know how some stores, they have like a food place, right? So we were literally across from the register, right? So I already knew the reason why she came is because she's filled with demons, and the glory of God on our lives, right? For I am who I am, right? So I already know that's why she came back. So I'm just, paying attention, you get what I'm saying, but still enjoying myself, and taking a break or whatever. And she's sitting there talking to herself, and it's just foretelling or revealing, that she got demons in there. So I'm just like, peeping out the scene, whatever, but still, it is what it is. So, so then she do something strange, right? Which is interesting to me. She do something strange. Well, the demons in her does something strange, right? So, like, the way I was sitting like in front of the table, but I was like out, like I was turned, like I was like facing towards, like, if I could just get up, right? So it was like one leg was by the table, in front of the table, and one leg, like I was positioned like this, right? So I could see her directly in front of me. She just a couple of feet away from me, right? My daughter is across from me, so if my daughter looks, she would have to turn her head to see her, and like she's okay. We literally, what is this? What is this shape like this? Triangle? We're literally a triangle shape, right? So the lady is at the tip of the triangle. I'm on this side. My daughter is like towards like behind her on the side of her, right? So this woman literally, the demons in her literally she said something like, who is this? Or something like that, right? And she looked back slow like a weird demonic movie. Like she exorcist, like exorcist. What? However you say it, like a person that's possessed with demons. She moved her head slow and she looked from the bottom to the top, sizing my daughter up. My daughter looking back, looking at something else. I'm looking at her, right? And when she turned her head, I say to my daughter, not, so loud, but not so low either, right? And mind you, she just a couple of feet away. I said, the kingdom of darkness is so, like, not smart, right? I think I said stupid. I don't know. I said, and I told her what just happened, right? And I said, they so silly. They're revealing who you are. I said, first of all, they came over here, right? She came over here. They came over here. It's because of me, because of us at first initially. Secondly, you get what I'm saying, in her acting the fool, talking to herself and stuff like that, right? It stopped. I guess one of the demons realized my daughter, and it did what it did, right? And I told her, I'm like, I demonstrated, said everything that was done. And so I'm telling my friend this on the phone. I'm like, and then I go further and I said there's two other times, right? I said, one time, this was before I was spiritual at all. This is before my youngest was born, right? But in the house that I, created her at, or whatever. And so I remember one time I was, trying to do jail ministry. I was in the process of, arranging jail ministry to minister in jails. I had a prayer line thing, and I was on the phone with my boyfriend during the time where he was helping me and stuff like that. I was coming out of my room and a spirit came to me. It wasn't in physical form. It was just a spirit. It came to me. And whatever spirit, I think it's the spirit of fear. I don't really know what spirit it was specifically, but it was a high spirit in ranking. It came to me. I'm on the phone and I froze. This is before I knew a lot of stuff that I know now, right? I froze. And I could feel the size of the presence. All I feel is fear. And I could feel like all the things, right? And I literally couldn't move. Well, I don't know if I could move or not, but I was so scared or like such in shock. Turn it off. I was such in shock that I didn't move until it left. It literally sized me up for like 20, 30 seconds. I don't know how long it did. Once it left, I was still in shock, and I was like, babe, like such and such, telling him what happened or whatever. So that's one, right? The final thing is, in my first place I lived in, right? My first place, I needed a co-signer to get the place or whatever. So my mama co-signed for me because I didn't have established credit or whatever yet or whatever. So my mama co-signed for me or whatever, which is strange because even though I didn't have established credit, I had enough credit to move in the place and I had the income. But I guess because I was young, I was only 18, 19 years old. I don't know the reasons why, but maybe this has something to do with it. Maybe it was just God. I don't know. I don't know if it was the first year or the second year of being in there, right? So me and my mama, like, we wasn't really close during this time, or this is the beginning of us, like, not being as close. Well, matter of fact, it already had kind of started. It did. You get what I'm saying? It already had started. And I believe, I don't remember, but we probably got into it over something, just had a disagreement, was nothing major. Like during that time, we never had nothing major between us, right? Or according to me or whatever. And so I remember one time I went to go pay my rent in person, as I always did living in that house, right? After the situation, right? I went in there to go pay my rent. Mind you, everybody in the place was white, right? The lady in the front, I've never had conversations with her outside of just business and me paying my rent. And she tells me, like, I don't know how she knew it was me. It wasn't the same week that it happened, but it was just in that month prior to me coming in, or the previous month prior to me coming in. She said, yeah, your mama came in here and she tried to take her name off the lease, right? And she said, I told her that she needed you to take herself off the lease, right? And before I could appreciate that, I don't really remember how I thought, but from what I can remember, before I could appreciate the hand of God, like, back then, I didn't know like things of this was God, right? Or it wasn't like in the way I know it now. Like every little thing, I'm like, because it is God. Like God does things that we know and things that we don't even know, right? So I don't know if I deemed that as that was an act of God or the favor or whatever. I don't even think I was up on favor during the time. So I remember finishing paying my rent or whatever, and I go to the car, and I had a boyfriend or whatever, or it's a friend, I don't know, in the car or whatever, and I started crying. I started crying real bad. And I was confused, and I didn't understand, like, how could my mom, or, like, that was the beginning of my growing pains with my family, right? You get what I'm saying? Or of me being independent or whatever. So I just started crying. I'm in a parking lot crying, bawling, and I'm like confused, right? And still after that, y'all, remember I already told y'all that after that, I still didn't hold those things in my heart when I dealt with my family, right? But that's neither here nor there. But anyways, going back. So I'm telling the my friend that's incarcerated over the phone just a little bit ago, like an hour ago. And I'm telling him, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, boo, these things is both foretelling and revealing, right? The hand of God on your life and the evidence of God sorting things out for your behalf, or what's approaching you, blessings, and these things. The God's fullness is your portion, right? Freedom, liberation, and whatever it is your portion. Or it's also like with the spirit coming to me. I don't think I said this though. With the spirit that came to me that was sizing me up. After that moment, that's when I thought, because mind you, I wasn't spiritual during that time, I was learning. After that moment, I would think to myself, and I was like, who am I that these things are happening? Like, this is before I knew anything about myself like that. I just knew I was a child of God. I just knew I loved God. Like stuff like that. I didn't know the identity. I didn't know the gifts. I didn't know none of that during the time, right? So I was like, from that moment, I said, the devil messed up with me from that moment, coming to size me up like that, right? Who am I that these things are happening to, that such entities, right? Real life situations, right? It's dealing with me. Like they coming to trouble me, or they coming out their way to reveal something to me that I don't know nothing of yet, but it's a reason. I knew that much, right? So I told him, I said, for such things to happen out the blue, this person don't even talk to this family member that did what they did to them. They don't even talk to this person, right? What they did don't have none. It doesn't even make sense on no end, right? It's just out of the blue, right? But I told them spiritually it does. I said, this is the game that we need to be up on. We can't look at our lives, right? And be active in our lives from the limited mind, right? Or the carnal mind, the carnal perspective that we had before. We must look at life this way as a child of God, right? And I don't know what else I told him, but I went in and he was like, the person was like, for them it's comfort. They was like, man, I'm so glad that, I got you in my life. You get what I'm saying? To comfort me. Like, they was like, yeah, because I was confused and, I didn't, and I'm like, man, do you hear all the stuff that I go through? And I tell him the things that I go through. Well, some or the majority of things that I go through, like just a snippet of it or whatever. And I do that intentionally to encourage him. And I'm like, dude, like, we shouldn't even be having this conversation, but hear God. You get what I'm saying? And let moving forward, let your position to be in this. Oh, and then I told him this. I said, the last thing. Then I told him this. I said, the only focus that you need to worry about is that making sure that, you get what I'm saying, the spirit concerning you is cleared. There's no mess. There's no mix up. There's no mistakes. Everything is in order in the spirit concerning your life. I said it don't need to be straddling the fence between good, evil and good. You need to be all in on God's side. It needs to be clear. I said also your position unto God needs to be upright before God, in the sight of God. And I said, as long as that's in order, you can bet your bottom dollar or whatever that the next court date you're going to be released, because if it's clear spiritually, then physically it will foretell that it will be a manifestation of that. I said for everything that we see physically is a manifestation of what goes on spiritually. I said in fact that's why you was incarcerated, because Daddy was sorting those things out for you. He was challenging you, chasing you to sort those things out so you could be saved, so you could be secured in Him and so forth. And I told him it's not even about you. Right? It's for you, but also you got people behind you. You got a legacy behind you that you don't even know that you're carrying. There's people behind you that you're carrying, right? Just like he a part of who I'm carrying, right? And me, my obedience and my yes and my perseverance, it's they depend on it, right? I said likewise with you and so forth, and so that we just had church on that phone. You get what I'm saying? And all the monitoring people or whatever, because the call is monitored. Yeah, we had church up in that thing. But the final thing is, so with Jesus, y'all, this is the final thing. With Jesus, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm saying things that I know that nobody ain't never heard. Like these things is not preached, right? But let me end it with this. So with Jesus, when he was on the boat, and he stopped for this very reason, right? I don't know why he stopped, but this is the only thing he did when he stopped. And he encountered the vessel that was at the grave or whatever the case was. He was in the wilderness or around the dead things or whatever, and he was demon possessed, right? He would cut himself. It would be self torment and stuff like that, right? So he came there, and that person or them demons ran to him. They came to him, y'all, because he the light. The light attracts darkness, right? It's a spiritual legality thing. The Bible says a prophet is not without honor except such and such. But the part I want y'all to focus on is that a prophet is not without honor, right? So there's ranking, right? For we are the head, we are above, we are the lenderers, right? We're a royal priesthood, right? We're the sons and daughters of the Most High God, the God that's the creator of all things, right? Of heaven and earth and so forth. So he got off the boat, and these demons came to him and confessed who he was. They said, "What we have to, leave us alone. What we have to do with you, Jesus of Nazareth?" A prophet is not without honor, except such and such, right? So that it just comes with the territory, right? So we must be up on game as children of light. We must know our truth. We must have the mind of Christ. We must have dominion and power and authority in our footsteps, right? God's word must be on our heart. We must have the whole armor of God on and so forth. Y'all gonna have me to preach up in here. Y'all lucky I didn't have a church. Y'all lucky. Man, everybody would be at my church for real. I can't look, dude, it'll look completely different if I was in front of a pulpit. It'd be crazy. Y'all think this is something. This is like 2% of what I got. 2%. But yeah, that's my time. For those of you that have an ear, hear what the Lord is saying.